It's time for somebody to really break this stuff down because I'm just frustrated with this whole gender war thing between men and women, and especially black men and women. I'm going to break this down to let you know what's really going on here. And this is the truth. The issue is nowadays is we live in such a politically correct society that for some strange reason, we think that women should think like men and men should think like women. And that doesn't even make any sense because women can never be men and men can never be women. But we live in a society nowadays, for some strange reason, where the women want men to think like women and the men want women to think like them. And when you really think about it in hindsight, it doesn't even make no sense. Because nature is involved. And we know that nature is the final decision, right? You're born a woman, you're born a woman, you're born a man, you're born a man. That means that nature has made its final decision. It rendered you a woman. And it rendered you a male. And there's nothing you can do about it, right? We can't go back on it. We can't change our gender. Your gender is what your gender is. The issue is when it comes to us in a modern day society, for some strange reason, women have a problem with men being men and men have a problem with women being women. And what I'm trying to tell you is women's supposed to be soft. Women's supposed to complain. Women's supposed to be emotional. You know why? Because that's what women do. So when I hear men crying about a woman being a woman, it doesn't make no sense. And just like men are supposed to be tough, irrational, and difficult. Why? Because we're men. We're just being exactly what nature made us. And the biggest problem of this whole issue between men and women today is that we all have a problem with us being who we are. That's the problem. Men have a problem with women being women. And women now have a problem with men being men. And that's when you start coming out with strange words like being over masculine or masculine women. See, that everything becomes strange because nobody's no longer playing their part in this well put together creation. And that's the biggest problem. God made male and female. He made the male in the position to lead and the woman in the position to follow, but to move as one unit, together in unison. It's like a basketball game, right? You don't want the fast forward trying to get the rebounds, right? You don't want the guard hanging out on the perimeter. You don't want the guard playing himself out of his position. You want everybody on the team to play their position. You're the guard. You're the center. Now, when the center start playing the guard's position, and then you're going to have confusion. And that's what's going on today. Nobody wants to play their part anymore. The woman says, I'm tired of being a woman. And the man says, I'm tired of being a man. That's the problem. And the difference is now, back in the days, we used to be okay with who we were. Back in the days, the man had no problem with the woman being a woman because he understood, oh, she's just being a woman. She's emotional. She's sensitive. So it wasn't a big deal when a woman acted like a woman. He had no problem with it because why? Back then, back in those days, men understood that a woman is just being a woman. And just like our grandpas would say, oh, that's just her being a woman. She just being a woman. That's all she is. She's just being a woman. That's what women do. That's what women do. Because men understood that. And we had no problem with it. Why? Because we had no problem with a woman being a woman. But now we have a problem with it. Now we asking women, why are you so sensitive? Why are you complaining all the time? Why are you the way you are? And when you think about it, it doesn't make no sense. Why are we complaining about a woman being a woman? See, that's the problem here. We stopped being okay with who we were. For some reason, we don't want a woman to act like a woman. We don't want a man to be a man. And now women are complaining. You're over masculine. You're acting too much like a man. How? You are a man. So if you are acting like a man, then you're acting your part. And when you think about it, it doesn't make no sense. And what the problem is now is that we have an issue with each other being who we are, who we was meant to be, and who we was created to be. We need to go back to being okay with what we were created to be. We got to go back to being okay with a woman being a woman and being the way she is. Yeah, women are going to complain because that's what women do. Women are going to be sensitive because that's what women do. Women are going to worry a lot because that's what women do. Women are going to be suspicious of you because that's what women do. They've been doing this since the beginning of time. What's the problem? The problem is now that you don't want her to act like that. Now you don't want her to act like a woman. Now you have a big issue and now you're getting upset because you don't understand that she is just being what she was created to be. That's our problem. See, we need to go back to being okay with a woman being a woman and a man being a man and being okay with what comes with that. A woman has to be okay with a man being masculine, strong-minded, strong-willed, acting like a leader, taking the front role, as he should. Because that's what he was created to do, as a man. So how are we, as men and women, how are we going to have an issue and a problem with men and women that are simply just doing what they was created to do? This was all designed to be this way. But as we enter into the new world of gender confusion, now we believe that it's okay for a man to be soft. And now we think it's okay for a woman to be hard. And that's why we're having so much issues now, because we are staring at nature and saying, nature, you got it wrong. We telling nature that you made a mistake. We telling nature that you don't know what you're talking about. And now we want to redesign this whole thing that God has put together. We want to reconstruct it. We want to dismantle it and then put something brand new together. Let me tell you something. If you do that, it's not going to work out. You know why? Because God has a divine plan. His plan is perfect. There's no plan that you can come together or mustered up that would ever be as perfect as God's plan. You can try to modify it. You can try to add to it. You can try to take it away. I guarantee you, if you do that, it will not be a perfect plan. And that's the reason why we're all confused now. The dating scene is a muck. We don't understand each other no more. Men are confused about women and women are confused about men. Because we have taken what God has put together and now we want to reconstruct it and turn it into something else. Then what we're going to turn it in, we're going to turn it into an imperfect plan. So when it all falls apart, don't be surprised. Because now you're rejecting God's perfect plan. How he made it. And now you have an issue with it where you should just be okay with it. Men should be okay with women being women. If she's looking through your phone, hey, that's what women do. If they're worried about you cheating on them, that's what women do. If they're sensitive sometimes, that's what women do. They've been doing that since the beginning of time. What's the problem now? I do not know. And men been the same way too. We've been strong-minded, strong-willed, catty, difficult. We've been like that since the beginning of time. What's the problem now? See, the problem is men want women to think like men. And women want men to think like them. Let me tell you something. I might not be the sharpest knife in the drawer, but one thing I do know is that a woman will never be able to think like a man, and a man will never be able to think like a woman. And as long as we sit here and try to figure each other out like some type of science project, we're going to be in trouble. Instead of just accepting what's on the table. Men nowadays, they want to create a female version of themselves. And women, they want to create a male version of themselves. We can't think like each other because we're not the same. Women and men are different, and they're always going to be different, and that's okay. That's the beautiful thing about being a man and a woman, is that we are different. And that's what made it work for the last 7,000 years. It's been working. Because if it wasn't working, we wouldn't be here today. Children wouldn't still be getting born. So it's been working. And like my old grandmother said, if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. We can get our best examples from the old school and the old people that came before us. Because with all of this technology, we think we can morph and change everything. We think we can bend genders and change this and change that. And, now we asking questions, what is a woman? And now we asking questions, what is a man? And the truth is, confusion comes from the devil. That's the truth. Read your Bible. It says confusion is of the devil. And now men and women are running around here confused about what a woman and a man should be. That's your problem. When nature in the word of God has already told you what a man is and what a woman is. Your answers have already been answered. So why are you asking questions when the answers have already been answered? It doesn't make no sense to it. So I'll leave you with this before I depart from you. Allow a woman to be a woman and allow a man to be a man. Take it for what it is and what it has always been for thousands and thousands of years. And it's okay to be different. I said it's okay to be different. It's okay for a man to be a man. It's okay for a woman to be a woman. We are not the same. We will never think the same, and we'll never be the same because we wasn't created to be the same.